Alright, welcome back everyone, it's your Code King Zaf here, back at it with yet another juicy testing video covering the brand new weapon, the SSR Water Winter Fang. Finally a brand new water weapon, but we're going to cover just how good it is to see if it's viable or skippable. I do want to see in the comment section if you plan on summoning for it. I'm very curious, but I'm going to cover all our testing results when it comes to every single advancement, the sweet spots, but also the weapon comparison too, just to see which weapon it pairs best with, because honestly, the results will really shock you. I was surprised, but let's jump in. Let's cover every single thing you have to know to determine whether or not this weapon is viable. But again, in the comment section, let me know, do you plan on summoning for it or not? But also make sure you jump in and support us if you want a bunch of free codes sent directly to you, of course. You press yes, and you're done your sporting. Then you just wait a few hours after sporting. You go to your My Page section up top here, you press that button, then you scroll down all the way under Receive Benefits is where the brand new codes will go. We have 3 codes right now sent all the way to the bottom. These are for Shadow Energy, Marks of Time, and SSR Hunter Weapon Designs. So jump in and support us that way. You can get a bunch of code benefits sent directly to you, and also join a Discord server. We have tons of giveaways for our supporters and also our members. That way you can benefit additionally as well. And speaking of the Discord server, a shout out to Share from the first comment to our last video. Here is your shout, bro, and enjoy that juicy Discord rule, of course. Now, let's cover the brand new weapon, because honestly, when it comes to advancements, I do realize that we do get more damage. Every single advancement here we obviously gain on, but I do want to mention, when it comes to the weapon's baseline at A0, we get a pretty substantial buff. That is the isolation effect. That is when we equip a blessing stone known as the Title Wolf Assassin, a very general blessing stone. It doesn't matter the rarity, but we get this bonus right here. That is 30% increase to our damage out and a 30% crit damage result. Not too bad. This is obviously a buff that applies globally to all our skills, our damage sources, etc. It is not limited to the weapon, which is very good. It is pretty much an instant buff with a minimal investment, making it honestly a not bad weapon when it comes to, I guess, the investment to bonus ratio, but I'll cover that. You can see right here every single advancement did obviously net us a fairly substantial damage bonus, with the biggest coming from the A5 mark. So, I mean, with this weapon, you can either leave it at A0 or get it all the way to the A5 mark to get more damage coming in, because the weapon skill does continually reset. Let me show you, that we can understand how the weapon works, because honestly, it's fairly interesting. It's one of the, I guess, first weapons that does use the ultimate power gauge as its main source for, I guess, consistent DPS. Very interesting. Let me show you. Watch this. We're going to jump in. We're going to use Shadow Step. We're going to use our skills to charge up the power gauge, right? When water skills are used, we do get a bonus. Now watch. When it comes to actual weapon skill, we use it once, we use it twice, we use it 3 times, and our power gauge does get drained, but it does also get regen. Very interesting. This weapon is one of a kind. I do enjoy it. A very interesting weapon, but let's jump back into the testing results. You can see exactly how the weapon does work. So, when we got the weapon to A5, we tested using our water weapons, and the results were interesting overall. We have the Grimoire, and we have the true version of Kasaka's Venom Fang, and the damage results seem very similar, but I do want to mention, when it comes to this weapon combination, we do want the Grimoire for the teamfight modes, when we do get that bonus elemental weakness damage on a target. But when it comes to single player JINWOO modes, obviously when strictly looking at the water category, the Venom Fang does work out better, but we do have the Scatty as well, and we got a more or less similar result, but the Scatty sucks. We do get a lot of mana issues, which is not ideal because the casting time takes way too long, so Scatty is out of the picture. But going back here, just looking at raw damage results, the true version of the Kasaka's Venom Fang is better for raw JINWOO damage output, but for teamfight modes, like I said before, the Grimoire is ideal, using the same loadouts. But let's compare this to our other weapons. So we have our light weapons right here, and the damage result was obviously a bit higher, up to the 430 million damage mark, coming up from the maximum 350 million damage result we had, so not ideal. Obviously, that means our light weapons are critically better, but I do want to mention, when it came to our testing, it was very consistent. We took off a blessing stone right here to ensure we're not getting unfairly buffed based on the bonus advancements we have, right? every single advancement does give us a bonus to our attack, HP, and defense, so I made sure to take off a Blessing Stone. That way, of course, we made it fair when it came to comparison, just because if I filled in that gap of attack scaling Blessing Stone, we would get a pretty large advantage. So this made it even, trust me, worked out. So the light weapons were better, right? But I do want to show you something very, very interesting as we go down. We paired the brand new Water SSR with the Stormbringer. Yes, that's right, using the same Blessing Stones. The only thing we changed was the skill, making sure we have high speed rotation, which does work out perfectly with the Stormbringer, giving us the highest damage result yet. 470 million damage. So that just kind of confirms right now that the Winter Fang isn't necessarily a damage dealing weapon, it's actually a buffing weapon, just because the 30% damage increase is huge, with a 30% crit damage bonus as well, in infinite duration, and the weapon itself does deal some damage, charging our power gauge too, so overall, it's more of a support DPS weapon than an outright DPS weapon, of course. Very interesting. You can see right here, we also paired it with the Quarterstaff, and watch, we use all the same skills, and the damage result was not too bad, 400 million. We were at the mercy of our crits, of course. We do need a lot of crit rate when it comes to Quarterstaff, but 400 million, that was better than all our results when it came to the water combinations, which is obviously quite a shock. So right now, when it comes to the brand new weapon, the Winter Fang, it seems to be more or less a buffing weapon, providing some support DPS. When it came to the power restriction, using our water weapons, I used the Grimoire and the brand new weapon, the Winter Fang. Our damage result wasn't too crazy. I mean, Shaw did deal a ton of damage, but JINWOO not so much, right? So you can see right now, when it comes to weapon, it's just not that good. We don't even have too many water skills to really help buff the weapon overall. So right now, based on the weapon alone, I would say it's an okay weapon. It's not a must-have from our testing, but we'll see. Just confirm it is a pretty good buffing weapon, like I said. So depending on the loadouts, when we use our skills, when we use our weapons, when it comes to the secondary weapon, it could be very good depending on the meta we choose. But right now, when it comes to Stormbringer, it is a very, very, very good option, giving us a major damage result, so not too bad. Actually, I do want to mention, I'm very curious, how does the weapon fare when using it with the Stormbringer? When it comes to Stormbringer and the Quarterstaff, that is one of the best combinations, so give me 1 second. Let me jump in and do one more very quick test, because right now, I'm very curious how that test result will work. Let me show you. Yeah, we'll just jump in and show you the testing result, just so you can see how the testing did work out. So, equip that. Make sure we have the skill equipped as well. Let me jump in, do that, equip that, and jump in. Remember, it's a very baseline test, so let's see how this weapon combination does work. I'm actually very curious. So, Stormbringer comes out, we use high rotation, get the damage in. Let's see, and the Quarterstaff too. So far, not too bad. It's actually a pretty good damage result. Let's see how it fares. Remember, we're trying to beat the, 470 million damage mark. So it is a tough amount to beat. Let's see here. We're getting actually really good damage so far. 212 million. It's looking good. It's looking good. Actually, very promising. 221. I would be surprised if this still came out on top, right? Let's see. Let's jump in here. Oh, I didn't want to do that. That's okay. Let's see, even if a mistake, how good can our damage be? We are at the 303 million mark. Just a bit more damage. Let's dodge here. Get the Shadow Step in. Let's apply that. Let's do that once, do that, do that, do that, do this, and then do this finally. What's the damage like? Overall, not too bad, 419. So depending on the damage output, this one was a bit harder to pull off. That's actually interesting. Let me show you. So here are the weapon comparisons right here. It seems that obviously the Stormbringer is the MVP in terms of damage, right? And the Quarterstaff, but when it came to the best combination, I guess unless for landing multiple crits when it comes to Quarterstaff, using the Scythe and the Stormbringer might be one of the better options in the game right now. We got 470 million compared to 420 million. Interesting. So right now, one of the better combinations is, of course, using the brand new weapon with the Stormbringer. So right now, the weapon is not a must, but getting it to the A0 mark could make a very promising investment, giving us the damage we need with minimal investment, and having the Stormbringer all the way to the A5 mark, using our highest rotation, giving us those major damage bonuses. Remember, when it comes to Stormbringer, it's one of the best weapons in the game just because of this damage amount right here. When used right, of course, we deal non-elemental damage, 3,200% of our attack every 0.5 seconds, which is huge, so keep that in mind. When we use a wind skill, it procs this effect constantly, so right now the Stormbringer is good, and right now the Scythe is looking pretty good too. I would recommend maybe getting one copy of it, because right now it's looking like it can pretty much replace the Plum outright. Well, maybe not outright, but it does seem to be a pretty good replacement in terms of the minimal investment route, only needing literally one copy, no advancements, to get the isolation bonus. So right now, this weapon does seem to potentially hold some meta value to it, not in terms of the weapon damage alone, but in terms of the buffs it provides. So let me know. I'm very curious your thoughts in the comment section right now. The weapon itself is not good alone in terms of raw damage, but when it comes to buffs, it makes our other weapons shine, of course. So if you enjoyed, drop your like. Make sure to subscribe as well, but don't forget to jump into sports for your free codes, and also to ensure you never miss on benefits, including our Discord server, where you can enter a bunch of giveaways that we have for sporters, of course. On that note, this is your Code King Zaf signing out. See you in the next juicy video, of course.